Hello Dragon Crafters and welcome to another video. This video marks the first episode of our new series, the Fairy Monotype Challenge in Pokemon X. There are many reasons I decided to do this kind of video series, one of them being I just really wanted to do it alongside with tweets. These videos will be posted every week as an episodic series, so stay tuned for them. Now then, before we actually start with episode 1, let's go over the rules of the challenge. First, we can only use Fairy type Pokemon, meaning they need to have or evolve into Fairy type as their type, whether it's primary or secondary. Second, we'll be using level caps in every major battle, like the gym leaders. Third, we can only match the items the gym leader has used in the battle with us, so no infinite healing. Finally, we're not allowed to use any revives in battle. Now then, the journey begins with Pokemon X, a game I have actually never played before, and fittingly, it was a game that the Fairy type was introduced. Since I wanted to be this as true as a first run as possible, I did a very small research before I actually started, which turned out to be a really bad idea, as you will see very soon. So we started the game, and after we got dressed, we immediately left the house. Met a couple of kids waiting for us outside for some reason, petted the Rhyhorn that apparently knew us since birth, and then exited the town itself to get into the next town to receive our first Pokemon. Then we met the two kids from earlier, plus two more, they seemed to be all buddy-buddy together. They gave us a nickname literally 2 seconds after I met them, but I forgave their insolence because they gave us a free Pokemon. Now, all these starters seem great, but none of them are a Fairy type, so I plan to box them the moment I get my true starter. I picked Fennekin as I thought it was really cute and was a fox, and I liked it, okay? After a very easy first fight with one of the kids who picked up the Pokemon weak to mine, we went back to our house, told Mom I'm finally leaving this house, and she packed my stuff, and then I left. I went back to the previous city where I bought some Pokeballs and potions for the journey ahead. The moment I was telling my Twitch chat that I find it very strange that the game did not give us some free Pokeballs, or even a catching tutorial, literally 2 seconds later, Serena, the rich girl from before, forced us into that specific tutorial, and then gave us a few Pokeballs. You could not show up literally 5 seconds ago before I bought all of these Pokeballs? However, I did not need any of the Pokemon in this route or even the one after it. You see, after my not so good research, I knew the first Fairy Pokemon was either a Ralts or a Flabébé, both found in Route 4. However, I did not know that you could also find an Azurill in Round 3 or something like that. This meant that I kinda broke my first rule, which is use only Fairy type Pokemon from the moment we can catch one, but we're gonna let it slide for two reasons. One, it was my birthday when I started the challenge, and 2, I am stupid. That meant an easier way for us through the forest where we caught nothing, skipped most of the trainers because I wanted to use them for more XP with my true team. I then went to town and made a beeline towards Route 4, where I was stopped by this unknowing lady who told me to go find the gym leader. Despite my attempts to sneak by, or even seduce her into letting me go, she was adamant about it, so I had no choice but to go to the gym. I battled a skater who was for some reason blocking the entrance, and then finally entered the gym. To my surprise, I found out the first gym was a bug Pokemon gym, which meant I had a huge advantage over with my fire Pokemon. Even though I entered the gym under-leveled, I quickly swept through the trainers and then proceeded to challenge Viola, the gym leader. Before the battle properly began, I was very pleasantly surprised by the battle music. So I spent quite some time just banging my head up and down because I enjoyed it way too much. The battle finally started, and even though I was down one level and one Pokemon short, I thought I would have an easy time because fire beats bug. However, the first Pokemon was a Circuit, which is also a water type. I immediately lost very easily. I tried a few more attempts trying to use Howl and then physical moves on it. However, the damn Circuit knew Aqua Sport and its bubble would decimate me in 2 hits, one if it critted. I managed to beat it finally, and out came Pavilion, Viola's ace, a level 12 bug Pokemon. My physical hits did so little damage to it, and Infestation, which apparently is a move that works like Poison and hits you every turn, quickly made quick work of it. I decided to go back and level up Fennekin up to level 12, and then went back to challenge Viola. I now had a proper plan. Pray that Circuit would use Quick Attack, which did very little damage to us, use Howl a couple of times, beat it, and then pray I have what it takes to beat Pavilion. A couple of resets later, I like aligned with the gods, which meant I had defeated Circuit while Aqua Sport effect was over, and with 2 Embers I've managed to beat Pavilion, thus earning myself the Bug Badge and a TM for Infestation. Finally, this meant I was free to enter Route 4, which meant, finally, catching my true starter. After a few attempts, we caught a Flabebe, which we called Rose. The next moment, my cute fox was boxed inside the PC, and that meant training Rose to get back to proper levels. So I went back to trainers I had not fought before and made quick work of them. While I was battling wild Pokemon in Route 3, I also encountered the Azurill, which at that point, I realized it was a Fairy type, and I should have used that one as my one true starter. However, again, it was my birthday and I'm stupid, so we're gonna let that slide. I quickly caught it, naming it Bouncy. I went back to Route 4 where I started looking for adults, which apparently is a very rare Pokemon there, so it took me some time to find one, but at some point I finally found it, caught it, and named it Demphils because it's the feeling Pokemon. I'm so original, I know. While I was training my Pokemon, my Twitch chat was firing up since I was gifted so many subs because, again, it was my birthday. A mad shout out to DK family, a wonderful DJ, and even more wonderful friend who decided to cheer me up by gifting me so many subs. This meant that we were being spammed by my alert box, but it was a spam that made all of us very happy and excited, so that was alright. After some traveling and training, we finally reached Lumiosa City, where we met Professor Sycamore, who insisted on battling us with all 3 Kanto starters. After our battle, where all of our team had a turn, he decided to give us a Kanto starter as well, which made me very unhappy because I love the Kanto starters, however, I cannot use them as they are not Fairy types. I decided to get Bulbasaur, which was my favorite, but had to box it almost immediately. After meeting with some very strange adults, one who insisted that the world should be beautiful and all people that are beautiful should stay beautiful and young and whatever, we turned our attention to Route 5, where we did some serious training on our team with the trainers there, Bouncy especially being rather weak for our team so far. Demphils and especially Rose were the really heavy lifters there. Finally entering Comfier Town, we took a stroll around the city, trying to find anything of value, which we did, after our pestering people gave us a TM Thief, and an Ultra Ball, and a Berry Juice, and I also found a Star Piece lying around. Then we entered the castle that was nearby in our quest to find more about Mega Evolution, something that Professor Sycamore told us to do, which turned out nothing. We were interrupted by a person claiming that it is back again. Half expecting to find a horror monster, we followed the man outside to find a Snorlax just sleeping there, which was blocking all the way forward, which is a really good reference to back to the old games. We could only wake it up, of course, with a Poke Flute, but the man had sold the flute to a rich guy nearby, so he asked us, go, meet the rich dude, and get it back somehow. Yay! Having no choice, I followed the road north to reach Parfum Palace, but an old man battler basically ripped us off by having to pay him in order to gain access to the palace itself. Son of a gun. After some sniffing around, we found out that the rich man's Pokemon, a Furfur whatever, had one missing. After hearing that, I could not sit idle, so I went heroically to find the garden. And honestly, the puzzle to trap the damn dog was so not worth my heroic and selfless attitude. But catch it we did, and the rich man threw us a firework display to honor us. We told him we didn't really care about that and we're only here for the money. But our friend, who was definitely flirting with us a few moments ago, reminded the rich bastard that we're here for the Poke Flute and the Poke Flute alone. I was angry that I was ratted out of my choice and chance to become filthy rich, but I begrudgingly got the Poke Flute, got back the Snorlax, and the man who sold the flute in the first place. After playing the Poke Flute, Snorlax attacked us. In my next playthrough, I am definitely catching a Snorlax so early in the game. However, for now, Snorlax was not the fairy Pokemon of my dreams, so I had to battle it, which was actually not that easy. My damage output was way too low, so I had to use Tail Whip a lot to counter its defense curl and actually get it down to like -3 defense. After we finally got there, I switched to Rose and finally we got the kill. We then entered Route 5 and after a lot of wild Pokemon training to keep our levels up, Rose got to level 19, which then triggered evolution into Floette. Our very first evolution, success story right here. A little while after, we encountered a Swirlix. I had to check it since I've never seen that Pokemon before, and it turned out to be a Fairy type. This meant another slave for the Fairy Monotype challenge, so I quickly set and caught it, which we named Cloud, as it looked soft like cotton candy and, or otherwise, a cloud. I am so good at naming, it actually scares me. But then we noticed a strange building up ahead. Entering, we found out there was a battle chateau, a facility where trainers come in, get invited by existing members of the nobility, which apparently is how they name the system inside the chateau, which is just a fancy way of saying this is just a Pokemon battle slugfest. Viola, the gym leader, was there and vouched for us, so they gave us the title of Baron and told us to go in there and beat the living hell out of everyone in order to increase our ranks. We started doing that, but after 3 battles, it was time to stop our journey for the day and continue next week. So that marks the end of episode 1 of the Fairy Monotype Challenge. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Next week we will continue the journey in the Fairy Monotype Challenge with more battles, more chaos, and more fairy. Not that fairy, the actual fairy type. Oh, this is so wrong.